Hey everyone, and welcome to a quick Planet Zoo tutorial. Today we are going to talk about the brand new Terrace tool, or the Flatten to Terrace tool. This is one of the most confusing tools ever added to the game. I think I found out what it did, so let me share my knowledge with you. Right, so we're going to start by showing off where the tool is going to be found, and this is in the new actually it's in the sculpting menu with the new little icon here to the bottom right. Now, Flatten to Terrace tool is, as I said, a little bit of a weird tool. So first of all, I'm going to deselect this one because I want to show you first of all what it does. So once you have the tool and it's locked to something and you just press down to the bottom, you will notice that not really anything happens over here, and this is because you don't have a height difference. So the tool works with a height difference. I'm going to show you what that means. So first of all, I'm just going to create a little bit of a pond, you know. This is kind of a pond over here, so very much a weird little pond in which we could have some water. So that's the water in here. Now, with the Terrace tool, you can now go and create some easy terraces. If I keep that to 10, you will see something ridiculous happens over here, and it's going to create a 10-meter deep terrace offset. As you can see, this is 10 meters over here because it always uses the lowest point and the highest point of your area. I'm just going to quickly close that off again. Simply to show you what's going on here again with the little pond. So there you go. Now I'm going to select again the Flatten to Terrace tool. I'm going to go all the way down to 1, and I'm going to select that again. And what you can see now, it just creates a wonderful little terrace over here that is just 1 meter of its offset. If I'm going to actually take something that is exactly 1 meter, like that panel over here, you can see this is exactly 1 meter offset over here. Obviously, this works exactly the same if you put that to 2. And then again, we search for a point down here, and it goes exactly to 2 meters from the highest relative point of your area over here. The same obviously goes to 3, and so on and so forth. You know, it just always creates a little shallow area. So you can see this is where the 2 was, this is now where 3 was. Obviously, and then you can go down and just create the flattened foundation and do it that way. The good thing though is once you go in here and use this Flatten to Terrace tool and you have found one area you are in, it's gonna flatten this all like completely to your liking, as you can see. So it just makes this pond that you created like super sharp, and then you could obviously then go in and smooth that out. There is one more option in here I wanted to quickly show you. So if I go back to 1 and do the exact same thing again, it does not work. The reason why this doesn't work is because you're already lower than this option. So you have to go actually to 4 and then select a lower point to create another lower area, as you can tell. So this is pretty much how the tool works. Obviously, if I hit 5, you can see it's going 1 more down, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. If there is for you the problem that you don't have a shallow area, because as you can see, this now is going back into the roller coaster tycoon through 3 days and anything. You can see the sharp edges because it always flattens everything to the exact water level that you need. Fun fact, if you want to have one terrace now down here, it's easier to just go in here with the push tool, decrease the intensity completely, and just push it back a tiny bit like so, and then you can use the Flatten to Terrace tool again and just check that here, and then you create a terrace from that little point, as you can see. Once you have started doing this, you will notice it's gonna end rather quickly. The reason for that is it always goes to the highest point. So what you would need to do in order to use that a bit more is just use that one, just make the whole bit a little bit higher. So that's already enough so that you just have a bit more offset, because the game needs something to recognize where it can create the edge. So going back over here, we can increase the intensity, and then you can see now it creates a bit of a bigger area because we have more reference area to create that offset. So you're gonna have to figure out a couple of things. More easy to do this would be now to just go in, create that terrace, go back to the Flatten to Terrace tool, and then it's going to create you the perfect edge again. So that's the way easier way to do it, to be honest. Just, you know, find yourself an area to click on, and then you're good to go. As you can see now, the water will be very much all the way to the edge. So no good thing to have the animals bathing. This is where the option shallow pool offset comes into play. If you choose that one and you do the exact same thing, you can see on the outside of your edge, it is going to transform the terrain ever so slightly. And now what you'll be able to see is that the water is not going to be connected here, but it's actually a tiny bit offset, and there is where your shallow area goes. So that is pretty handy in terms of creating a very shallow outside of your area. In fact, I want to show you some more things, how you can use that way better, in my opinion. If you create like a little pond, let's say we want to have this pond, I would still use the same technique by using the flatten to foundation tool. It always works better. And then if you want to have some offsets, you just use the flatten to terrace, keep the shallow offset over here, go to whatever depth you want to have for your area, and then just go to the outside, and it creates a wonderful shallow offset for you. You don't even need to do much. Then you can just click for testing. There you go, lovely. And the only thing you need to do now is go to the smooth tool, increase the intensity, and just smooth out your lake, and then put back the water in, and you've got a very much perfect outside area here where there is some wonderful shallow water. It's almost like a superbly nicely done puddle over here. So it's really cool. And this is the way I'd use this tool. You can obviously also use that by using the scenery lock. So if I push that into the ground, and then we would be here to, let's just quickly do that, make something like this. And then we go in here and say scenery lock, then you'll see it's gonna stop in front of the scenery here, because you know you set the scenery lock and it won't go there. Pretty much as with all the other tools as well, just to show you. And surface lock in here was the same, that you don't go below a certain surface. Honestly though, I never use that because scenery in this game, you know, is easily to be pushed and stuff, so it's a lot more easy to use it that way. But that's all you need to know about the flatten to terrace tool. I think it's pretty simple once you know how the thing operates. So always go from the lowest point and look at the highest point of your terrain elevation that you have, and then it's going to create whatever offset you need depending on your height. If you don't click the shallow offset pool, it's going to create a very sharp edge. If you do click it, it will offset this ever so slightly, but it's going to remain the sharp edge you have. So whatever you want to do in terms of canyons and stuff, you can do so, and you can always also do certain weird stuff like that and just smooth out the upper part, and then you still have a very nice sharp edge in terms of, you know, making maybe something more natural looking in terms of canyons, as I said, than you could before, because it's just a lot more steep and sharp. But that's all you need to know. There's really not that much more you need to know about the terrain tool in terms of making the flatten to terrace tool work. It's actually pretty simple, not gonna lie. If you once understood how it exactly works, it's a kind of cool tool. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, share it with others that might need it. And if you want to see more tutorials and stuff in the future, subscribe, because that helps you out, gives you the ping, makes me happy, makes you happy, everyone is happy, and the sun will shine tomorrow for us. Have a good time, stay safe, and goodbye.